Hey everyone, we are live and this is our Ask Trev segment. So, the topic that we'll discuss today is landing pages, and if anyone has additional questions, they are welcome to chime in. One of the questions that came up was landing pages. So, if you're spending money on Facebook ads and you have people going to your site, what does the landing page look like? What are the landing page best practices? How do you convert people who land on your site? So the best practices are to ensure that your site is familiar. So if somebody's clicking on your ad or they're coming from another area, ensure that you have a logo, something to identify yourself on your landing page. If it's not familiar, it's very unlikely that somebody is going to stay on your landing page. So ensure that you've got your logo there and it's very clear and concise as to who you are, so that people are more likely to buy from you, especially if it's coming from a Facebook ad. You might want to have a logo in your Facebook ad to indicate that there's this level of trust, that you are familiar with them. It's just continuing to build that rapport, and that's how you kind of start off with the landing page. So aside from the logo, ensure that it's clutter-free. So you don't want a lot of busyness with the landing page. You want it to be fairly clear, concise. And there's many different ways to do a landing page, but you want to be fairly clear and try to avoid having multiple logos or things that just kind of distract your page from everything else. And the next piece is to ensure that the content that you do put on there is very, it's very nicely structured, almost like a blog article. When you think about like a blog article, it's got headers, it's nicely separated. The sections are clearly laid out, and that's what you want with your, with the blog kind of setup, is a nicely set up section structure. And you want to approach that with a landing page as well, is to make it really clear. It might not be the same long form content. It might just be a single page, which is the best idea. But, with that single page, ensure that what you're writing is very clear. And, if you have bold headers, that's going to help with the structure. The sections are clearly laid out. That's really going to help. And when we talk about the clutter, just ensure that the messaging and the sales copy that you have is very clear in your landing page. If the sales copy is very confusing, then that just adds, again, to the confusion of the landing page. Get right to the point with what you want to do, like with what you want the visitor to do on your landing page. If you make it really clear and to the point, you're more likely to get them to hit that call to action button or fill out that form. So that's just a few of the pieces. Another piece that I was thinking about was the color on your call to actions. So psychology has kind of tested with, different colors to see what converts the best. Orange seems to be really interesting. I'm seeing that a lot. Red's another option, and blue. So these colors actually show to convert a little more. So you might want to stick with those colors and try not to go too extravagant with something like yellow, because that actually might not help with the landing page conversion. So yeah, consider, testing with the colors and the call to action setup and where the call to action is placed as well. Like, how do you want to position that call to action is really important. Again, testimonials, reviews, do you have any credibility that you can throw up there? So if you do put up a review, that's going to hold a lot of water, and then somebody might be more likely to convert. Maybe you have products, right? You're trying to sell products, and that's your landing page, right? In that case, having 5-star reviews is a good way to indicate that your product is a good quality item and somebody should check the product out. So you might want to integrate a 5-star review system, similar to how Amazon does it, or having a company give you a review. So if you have a company that gives you a review of your topic, then they're more likely to, the visitor is more likely to buy from you because you put a review down. It indicates, hey, this individual has a high quality review, then you're set. It's something I've seen a lot of websites. They put like Disney or IBM on their, list of trusted brands. This holds so much credibility for the business by putting up, legitimate businesses that you've worked with. So consider that as far as, credibility and, building out your strength in the mindset of the person that's visiting you. Let's see, other ones, pain points. So if you are creating a landing page, are you addressing a pain point? And you know what, you can even consider like in the header, like here's a pain point that I'm addressing in the header of the landing page. And that's just a great way to, address any obstacles that you might come across. Somebody's visiting your landing page, you throw up a header like, hey, my product solves XYZ problem, or it helps relieve your stress or time, or it, gives you more money. Think about the different pieces that you're trying to overcome. And, if you think about it, stress, time, money, anxiety, all those, different pain points. Can you relieve that with your product? Make you feel good? Maybe it's a piece of clothing. Does the clothing make the individual feel good? Well, make sure you write that in there, and, even ask a question. Are you tired of the stress in your life? Well, buy this product and it will make your life easier. Stuff like that. Use that in the sales copy. This is your time to really address the pain points. You have one opportunity. Somebody lands on your page. Don't blow it. Get right to the point, address the pain points. Here's your solution, and make sure it's really clear. And you can make the pain point really simple, because I'm thinking in terms of like what Airbnb, what they've done with their landing page, and it's absolutely incredible. It's like, they're talking about, making more money as a host, right? So you have a house and you're trying to rent it out. Well, they make it really clear by saying, make more money while you're away or something like that. And it's really clear as a call to action right at the beginning. And that's just their message. That's all they're saying is, you can make more money by clicking here. And it's like so very clear, and that's all they have. Airbnb is such a nice brand, though, that they've built that rapport to get to the point where they're able to do that. But that's something to really consider, is to build out messaging that addresses the pain point right away. And that's how you get people engaged and on board. A/B testing for your landing page. So there's plenty of sites out there to allow you to A/B test your landing page. So once people land on there, what are they doing? Are they leaving your page? Are they clicking the call to action? What are they doing? And you can actually test different messaging to see what clicks and what works with your audience. And one example would be to use Unbounce. They're like the A/B testing king. So you could use that for your landing pages. I believe Lead Pages as well. Lead Pages has fantastic software to just play around with landing pages, build a landing page, see what works well. So that's another option. But A/B testing is really critical because you can adjust the different colors like we mentioned, figure out what would really click with the audience. And I think if you A/B test, you're much further ahead, because most people just kind of throw it out there, see what happens, but you want to see what will convert. Form entry. If you are going to use a form as your call to action and get people to fill out their name, email, and whatnot, consider no more than 5 to 7 form fields in your landing page. And the reason why is because after 7, people do not want to fill out anymore. So you want to be careful asking too much. That's why I recommend asking the bare minimum. You could even just start with the email, especially if you just want email capture. Just ask for the email, and then you can build out a nurture sequence to capture name and whatnot down the road. But I would recommend no more than 7 fields if you're going to put a form in there to capture information. Another piece is I've seen a lot of like request a demo, call to actions, fill out this and you request a demo. I feel like if you're going to kind of sync it with a booking software, I know Calendly is a good example. If you're going to do that, that might actually create a roadblock. It's an additional entry that the prospect has to fill out. I feel like the Calendly should probably be sent in a future email. What you really want to do is capture the person's information first, because if they leave your site, then you've lost the opportunity to book them. So I feel like additional software is probably not the best way to capture the info. That's why having a form where you're getting the email, the name, and that way you can follow up with future booking, that's the way to go. I feel like it comes back to the clutter, right? You don't want to have too much on there because, again, you're trying to do way too much, and it's very unlikely that somebody's going to fill out all this information when they barely know you. So you want to use the bare minimum to capture what you need and then follow up. Again, taking the clutter and removing it. I can't stress this enough how important it is to have a clutter-free landing page. If you do that, you're going to see your conversions increase. When a landing page is built, you don't want people to leave the landing page. You don't want people to go to another thing that they have to consume. The landing page should be the be-all, end-all. And the reason why I say that is because this is your opportunity to make the sale, not give them a bunch of other stuff, okay? So if you've got like a navigation header, make sure it's not distracting. Ideally, you don't have a navigation header, meaning like home, about, contact. If you can disable that for the landing page, that's going to help with your conversions. Why? Because it's another distraction. People are going to click those header items. And that's not what you're trying to do. You're trying to get them to click the buy now, get started, get educated. So if you have the navigation header, that might create distraction. Consider removing it or hiding it or having it at the bottom in the footer or somewhere where people aren't seeing your navigation. Do whatever you can to not really have that distracting. Because again, you want them to click one item, and that's the buy now. Another option, which again you can do, I don't know if I love this, but I'm seeing it, is you can have the share buttons for your social share, such as like tweets, because that might help with your landing page popularity if somebody wants to share your page. I feel like if somebody's landing on your landing page, they're not totally comfortable with sharing your page yet. That's why I don't think that having social shares is the best option, because once again, I go back to clutter. I don't know if that's a great way to do it, but it really depends on your product, right? Like if you're trying to sell clothing, maybe that's a great way to really increase the brand awareness, and having the tweets and whatnot at the bottom is a good way to get it out there. Certainly you can give that a try, but it comes down to the A/B testing, right? See what people are hovering over, see what's working, see what people are reading, where are the eyeballs. So just consider that. Images, I think images are fine. You might actually consider having like one main banner image with a call to action right on there, because that's really captivating. I look back to Airbnb, they're a great example. Many startups really have this nailed down, where they just want somebody to get started and it's ready to go. So consider the landing page banner image as a valuable piece, because it might just help you out. So those are just some of the thoughts. I think I've pretty much covered everything on that. And I think we should just wrap it up. That's essentially it for landing pages. Thanks for tuning in, everyone.